Hi guys, today we're going to continue our journey through narrative writing. Next week we are finally going to write our first narrative. I'm so excited about that. But first we have to get through a couple more concepts so then you guys are ready. Before I get started, let's talk bonus points. Bonus points. If the following people email me and tell me they heard their name in the presentation, their entire class will get bonus points. Abshir J in 6th period. Lily C in 2nd period, and Nash C in 1st period. If you email me and let me know that you heard your name, I will give your class bonus points, okay? So moving into transitions and narrative writing. First, you guys need to know what they are. Transitions, guys, just help our story kind of flow and move easily. It helps our reader just seamlessly transition from one part to the next part to the next part. We've all read really choppy stories, and they're not very good. We never know what's going on. A good writer uses transitions to help their writing flow and make sense and all fit together perfectly, okay? They also alert our reader about what might be coming next so we can make predictions and inferences. All right, we are going to talk about 4 types of transitions in narrative writing, okay? First, we are going to talk about when it signals a change of time. Then we're going to talk about signaling a change of location, then signaling a change of perspective, and signaling a change of pace. Okay, I am going to delete my picture here for a minute when we get to the practice portion, just FYI. Okay, so guess what? Many times a transition is set apart from the rest of the sentence with a comma. In this right here, we have a transition. We have many times, comma. That's a transition right there. Guys, that's going to be your big clue. It's going to be at the beginning of a sentence followed by a comma, okay, almost every time. All right, that's where our transitions just normally like to sit, and commas are their best friends. They're right there next to them. Okay, first we're going to look at the change of signaling a change of time. Okay, so this is our most common type of transition. It's the easiest one to use. Okay, it indicates the amount of time that is passed, all right, between events or between things happening in our story. So, for example, we have later that evening, we watched a movie. Again, this tells me when, okay? It moves our story along to the next event. Notice, again, it comes at the beginning of the sentence. It ends in a comma. After dinner, I did my homework. That tells you when I did my homework, okay? When she got home, she did her chores, all right? So again, that is just going to signal time changes in our story. Some examples of those would be like meanwhile, afterward, in the morning, after lunch, after that evening, okay? We're going to put those at the beginning of our sentences and we're going to separate them from the rest of the sentence with a comma. Next, we're going to talk about change of location, okay? So this is another way that a writer just uses transitions when we change location. So if the setting changes in a story, especially when we're talking about the place, then we use these types of transitions. So for example, as he stood in line, he thought about what happened. After she caught the train, she knew what she had to do, okay? So this tells us where she is or where our characters are and how that changed, all right? While visiting Washington, D.C., we saw the president, okay? So that tells us where our characters are and how that has changed, okay? So some other examples, when her plane landed, when they arrived, as they walked through the streets, as they boarded the train, when he hailed a cab, okay? These all signal changes of place, okay? Again, they're going to go at the beginning of sentences, and then they're going to be separated from the rest of the sentence by a comma. That comma is our transition's best friend. Next, we have our change in perspective, okay? So here are some examples of those. Let me move my little video bubble a little bit. Some stories are written from several different points of view. Hello, we're reading A Long Walk to Water right now, right? Where we have Naya and Salva's point of view. This book's written a little different where there's different sections of our chapters, but sometimes stories are written for, different characters' perspectives, okay? So we're going to use some transitions to help this. So on the other hand, Denise had a different opinion. Charlotte's grandmother greeted her at the door. In spite of her mother's warning, Chelsea, okay? So guys, just again, look for those commas. This one right here doesn't have a comma, but mostly we are going to see the comma there, okay? So Finally, my favorite one, because I think it adds excitement or kind of slows our story down, is our transitions to change the pace of our story. So a lot of times these are used to make our stories more exciting, okay? So, or they're just like, if we're getting into that resolution and we need to slow down, this is the correct transition to use, okay? So as she pushed to the front of the crowd, that just builds that excitement in our story. We're building that rising action. We might be getting to the climax. Change of pace, perfect time to use that. Cheryl could feel the weight of the decision on her shoulders. See how that kind of slows our story down, okay? We start to think deeper. He took one last deep breath and dove into the icy water. Hello, quickens the story, okay? She sprawled out on the beach blanket, slowly breathing in the ocean air. So, is it making our story more exciting? Is it? Are you moving into more of like a relaxing part of your story? That would be a transition. To change the pace of your story. Remember, we use transitions to make our words just flow together and our stories seamlessly go together so our story isn't choppy. And remember, many times a transition is set apart from the rest of the sentence with a comma, just like in that sentence many times, okay? So let's practice identifying some of these. This is where I'm going to delete my little picture. So you're just going to have to listen to my voice, okay? So, for example, I'm going to read you this paragraph. I want to see, we have two transitions in the following paragraph. I want to see if you can find them. Look at the beginning of sentences with commas. Andrew Chapman had survived 4 whole months of 5th grade. It wasn't easy. Middle school was a confusing place. To begin with, you had to wear the right clothes, sit at the right lunch table. The rules went on, and they could change in a flash. You had to keep up. One wrong move and you were fish food for the hungry 6th grade sharks. In the fast-paced world of middle school, Andrew quickly realized the only thing he knew for sure was that he wasn't sure about anything. Go ahead and look at that paragraph. Try to find some of those transitions. I have 2 in here. 2. To begin with, and in the fast-paced world of middle school. Look at those commas right there hanging out at the end, okay? All right, now we're going to find 5 transitions here. Furthermore, as if Andrew didn't have enough to worry about, he was becoming convinced that all of his friends had some sort of flu. They were acting strangely. Instead of talking about baseball and music and the usual guy stuff, they all wanted to talk about girls. Even weirder, they wanted to talk to girls. A few girls had even started sitting with Andrew and his friends at lunch. Andrew wasn't sure when that had happened. Last he heard, girls had cooties. Apparently now it was the guys who had some bizarre illness. Andrew wondered if he would catch it. Okay, so my transitions, I have furthermore, as if Andrew didn't have enough to worry about, even weirder, last he heard, and apparently, okay? Guys, these are our transitions, all right? Go ahead, your show it is multiple choice today, okay? Really look for those commas. Pay attention to the bold words that I have in the questions as well. Those will help you. And if I said your name for that bonus point, please make sure that you email me. Have a wonderful Friday, guys.